So what is regenerative agriculture? What is regenerative farming, and how does it contrast to conventional farming? Those are all questions that you are asking, and being in my first year as a regenerative farmer, I didn't feel quite qualified to answer the questions myself. So I called in Joel Salatin to answer the question himself. He is a founding father of the regenerative farming movement in the USA, and he has come on here for us to give you some contrasts between regenerative farming and conventional farming. Now, this is part of a full-length 40-minute interview with Mr. Joel Salatin talking about regenerative farming for profit. If you are farmer enough for the full 40 minutes, click on the link down below and I will email it to you absolutely free. This is such a valuable resource for anyone looking to farm regeneratively for profit.
It is the Shepherdess at Harmony Farms, where we encourage you to think big, start small, and don't quit. We have as our guest today Mr. Joel Salatin, a founding father of the regenerative farming movement in the USA and author of 14 books surrounding the topic. Mr. Salatin, welcome.
Thank you, Grace. What a delight to be with you. Thank you.
Okay, primer. So as a primer, just explain generally the difference between conventional farming and what you guys do there regeneratively at Polyface.
First of all, I would say when we try to contrast, let's say, just orthodox conventional American agriculture with what we do, I would say the first thing is that we build soil rather than reduce soil. So as a result of our being here, we want there to be more soil, not less soil at the end of the day, at the end of a lifetime. Yeah. And as you know, most of American agriculture is working still today at an overall net soil depletion situation. So what we want is more soil. Number two, I would say, in general, we want more water in the landscape. We want to hydrate the landscape rather than size from sucking out of the stream going smaller and smaller. What we want to have more water in the landscape. We call that increasing the commons, if you will. So more soil, more water. I would say in general, we want more diversity on the landscape. So instead of being a monocrop, a monoculture, a monospecies, what we want is lots of different species, both plants and animals, working symbiotically rather than in a linear reductionist idea of simplicity and singleness of mind. So number four would be, if I have an animal that gets sick, I don't assume that it's some disease fairies sprinkling dust down onto my farm and making my animal sick. I'm assuming that it's something I've done to break down the wellness habitat, the immune system. Now, it could be that I chose the wrong animal, genetic weakness. It could be that I crowded them. It could be that I made them unhappy. It could be that I didn't feed them right. It could be that I got them too cold, too hot, too wet, too dry, a million different things. In general, we view sickness as simply a report card on our management, not something to vaccinate, medicate, and do a bunch of interventive type things. Number five might be that we view life as biological and not mechanical. The orthodox view in Western agriculture is that life is fundamentally mechanical. So we can take some DNA out of here and we can take some genes out of here. And it's essentially, if we can manipulate life like we can a copper fitting or a PVC valve, well, that's all fine. And we believe that life has fundamental distinctive sacredness to it, in that there's a reason why a tomato is like a tomato is, and a cow is like a cow is, and a sunflower is like a sunflower is. And those nuances, they are designed beyond our understanding. Right. So we want to respect the pigness of the pig, the chickenness of the chicken. We just want to respect that phenotypical distinctiveness of the animal as being fundamentally valuable, not only valuable for what we can make it do for us.
Mhm.
Number 6 is that the fertility program runs on carbon. So we run a carbon economy, not a petroleum economy. Now, I know that in the pure sense of the term, petroleum is also considered carbon because it's, oil is supposedly old, decayed leaves or whatever. But in general, what we want is real-time solar-driven carbon to run our fertility, as opposed to chemical fertilizers and centuries-old carbon. We want to have a short chain between the solar energy turned into a plant, turned into microbes in the soil. We want that chain to be as short as possible, not a long chain, which is what most farming does. And if I could just finish with number 7, we're just brainstorming here. Number 7 might be, we believe that farms should have a lot of people on them, or we should have a lot more farmers as opposed to fewer farmers. Western American agriculture is predicated on the notion that farming is an obsolete, low-paying, drudgery vocation that only C- to F+ students should be able to do. And if you're an A or B student, you should go to town and be a doctor or an attorney or a IT, in your Dilbert cubicle at the end of an expressway. And we believe that fundamentally land is better cared for, loved, and caressed when there are more people on it who are familiar and viscerally intimate with the land's desires and nuances. And so we think that we would actually have a stronger food system, a more secure system, a stronger civilization, actually, if we had more farmers. And I'm not saying everybody has to be a farmer. I'm just saying more farmers in general, more farmers to certainly today than we do. Right now in America, we have twice as many people incarcerated in prisons as we have farming. And I would like to at least see that number inverted.
So there you have it from Mr. Joel Salatin himself, comparing and contrasting regenerative farming to conventional farming. Please give this a like and a thumbs up if you found it valuable. And also, you can listen to the full 40-minute interview in podcast version by searching The Shepherdess wherever podcasts are found.